Notwithstanding this, our approach as government is to allow demand and supply forces to determine prices. International trade. Export revenue of goods and services was $6 billion for the calendar year ending 2022, of which export of goods and merchandise was worth $4.3 billion. For the 12 months to February 2023, we have exported 5.7 million bags, each of 50 kilograms of coffee, worth $800.
Okutandikira ku nguudo z'ekibuga Kampala na buli kanyomero kansi yonna okuva ku nsonga z'eggwanga Ssemasonga okutuukira ddala ku muzannyo gw'omunyuvu namutikko w'enkuba Fudembe oba wakati galikiti w'omusana ogw'emimula ng'oli wekka mu kibinja oba mwenna wamu ng'eggwanga nga weebase obulizaako oba ng'otemya bukofu ku bigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga amaaso gaffe tegeebaka rediyo yo tesirika rediyo yo terimba era terinza nsonga yonna ebeekuddewo mu ggwanga 107.9 PAL FM ekkola ly'omuntu wa bulijjo 107.9 PAL FM ekkola ery'omuntu wa bulijjo obweyamo bwaffe maama gy'oli kwekubandi tukuweereza ate era munnange tetukyusangamu muwogo gwe tukola wamma ateeta naagwe netukugamba bwe tuti
webale kuwuliriza 107.9 PAL FM ekkola ly'omuntu wa bulijjo.
Omuganda agamba nti omukadde akwatiza ku mmere ye tutateganyamu ku mpeereza yaffe okutuusaako ekiriwo kati ebigambo bingi nnyo ebyogerwa mu nsi naye ekyamakulu nga gwe gy'oli kusirika tuwulirizanga lugambo twaddangamu n'abo abakwogerako bajja kwogera baggweyo etuyambye nnyo okutumalako ebirowoozo ne stress ate nga bwe tuyiga n'eddiini yaffe tuninga naawe togivaako yongeza
akalimi ka leediyo yo wekaggwerayo
manya obusiraamu okuva ku ssaawa 4 okutuuka ku ssaawa 5 ez'ekiro weeyongera okumanya ebikwata ku ddiini yo manya obusiraamu
amanya n'eddoboozi ndi Sheikh Hussein Mwonge ku PAL FM
program manya obusiraamu
tuba ne Sheikh waffe omulungi Sheikh Abdul Karim Mugendera
program manya obusiraamu
byokoma okubanga omulimu oguddiŋŋana enkolagana eba y'amaanyi nnyo wakati w'omuddu n'omutonzi we Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala era ekikongera okubanga ofuna amaanyi n'okunywera ku mulimu gyonna yensonga lwaki nti Allah bw'oba omwesigamidde n'okola buli kintu kyonna agangenda kukumalira waman yatawakkal ala Allah
fahuwa hasbuhu
bwe bwesigamira Allah n'okola buli kyonna Allah agenda kubanga akumalira
manya obusiraamu wano ku PAL FM ne bamasheka ab'enjawulo
programu yaffe manya obusiraamu tuba ne mukadde waffe Sheikh Yahya Sultan Seganga
nabbi kyava awafatwa namugamba amukuthi fi baitiki hatta yabuluga alkitaba ajala dayo mu nyumba bawo mwakulese oba wa muzigo oba teri akulabira mu nyumba eyo yabbawo mu obusigala okutusanga omaze okukungubagira bbawo emyezi 4 n'ennaku 10
manya obusiraamu okuva ku ssaawa 4 okutuuka ku ssaawa 5 ez'ekiro wano ku rediyo yo ey'enso tutaataganyamu ku mpeereza yaffe okutuusaako ekiriwo kati omukkiriza guba mwoyo ate era n'entasimba ebulaagiwa kati nga tujaguza okuweza emyaka 12 ku mayengo g'ebyempuliziganya rediyo y'enganzi eya 17.9 Pal FM esazeewo okuddiza ku bawuliriza baayo kati fuuka omuwanguzi w'olunaku ng'owuliriza Pal FM era tugenda kugaba keeki ya Pal eri omuwanguzi omu buli lunaku anaddamu ekibuuzo ekikwata ku Pal mu butuufu bwakyo ng'ekibuuzo kino kyakukyukanga mu pulogulaamu ez'enjawulo paka nga tufunye omuwanguzi w'olunaku weebale kuwagira Pal FM tujagulize wamu ne Pal FM ng'eweza emyaka 12 ku mayengo g'ebyempuliziganya
wataataganyamu ku mpeereza yaffe okutuusaako ekiriwo kati
Since their peak between August and December of 2022.
tutaataganyamu ku mpeereza yaffe okutuusaako ekiriwo kati
Tea and tobacco. Since then, the economy has become bigger and more diversified. Some of the agricultural produce, which were only for consumption at home, such as maize, beans, potato, bananas, fish, milk, etc., have become commercial, contributing to household incomes. Other crops that have made the traditional cash crops include sunflower, from which we now make edible oil, palm oil trees, vanilla, avocado, oranges and mangoes, which are raw materials for the agro-processing factories. To now produce enough sugar. In fact, now we have rich surplus which we are exporting to our neighbors. Steel products, cement, other building materials such as tile at Kapit Industrial Park, mineral extraction and beneficiation, etc. We shall soon produce oil and gas, and the infrastructure development to enable this is currently under construction, including the East African crude pipeline, power and water infrastructure, and the Akabale International Airport. Uganda has a vibrant economy and workforce that is transforming our economy into a digital one. There are many businesses and financial transactions taking place within the country using the internet and other online avenues. This will not only improve efficiency, but also creating many jobs for the youth. The fiscal performance. Domestic revenue in financial year 2022-2023 is estimated at Uganda shillings 25.55 trillion. This is about 13.7% of GDP. This financial year, 2023-2024, we plan to collect Uganda shillings 29.67 trillion as a domestic revenue. When we achieve this target, we shall be able to
nyamu ku mpeereza yaffe okutuusaako ekiriwo kati
to rationalize government departments to reduce duplications and wasting of taxpayers' money. And the Minister of Public Service is finalizing the implementation plan for this decision. Industrialization. Our industrialization drive is bearing fruit, with many factories being set up. We have got 8 government-owned industrial parks, which are currently operational. These include Kampala Industrial Park and Business Park at Namamve, with 125 companies operational, 144 companies under the construction stage, and 106 companies at the planning stage, giving a total of 375 factories or companies. Ruzira, with 11 companies operational. Okwogera, with 8 companies. Soroti, with 2 companies operational and 5 companies at the construction stage. Tianshan Mbare Park, with 16 companies which are operational, while 4 are under construction stage. Jinja, with 1 company for assembling electric buses operational. Mbarara, for small-scale enterprises for which 35 workplaces are occupied. And Kasese, where 1 company is operational and 5 are under the construction stage. Both Karamoja and Koboko industrial parks will soon start. In addition, we have 3 industrial parks which are operational under a public-private partnership, PPP arrangement. These include Biaoshen Kapeka with 17 factories, MMP Buyukwe with 6 companies operational, and Tiantang Mukono with 4 companies. The total capital investment within the industrial parks so far is $2.93 billion, and 98,263 direct jobs have been created, with many more indirect jobs. In total, 226 factories are operating within the industrial parks, while 303 factories are either under construction or at the planning stage. The development of industrial parks is one of the vehicles for socio-economic transformation, with the projected creation of 2.5 million jobs in the next 5 years. The factories in the industrial parks do not include the standalone factories owned and operated by many different investors. These are factories that belong to Mukwano and Mwana Group, Mukwano Group of Companies, Mwana Group, and so on. These are a total of 354 factories employing an additional 100,000 people. The total number of factories in Uganda is 4,008, with a total number of employees of 150,000. We are committed, the parish development model, we are committed to creating wealth and jobs by moving households from the non-money economy to the money economy. To achieve this goal, the government launched the parish development model to accelerate socio-economic transformation. Using this approach, 39% of households which are currently in the non-money economy, the majority of whom are in subsistence agriculture, will move into the money economy. The parish development model will increase incomes, improve quality of life, and eradicate poverty at household level through modernization of agriculture, industrialization, improved services delivery, and using modern communication technologies. Through the Paris development model, agriculture will be transformed from subsistence to commercial. This approach will organize and deliver public and private sector interventions for wealth creation and employment generation using the parish as the economic unit for planning, budgeting, and service delivery. Therefore, the 10,594 parishes in the country will be the growth and service delivery units in the parish development model. The government has committed Uganda shillings 1,059 billion this financial year for its rollout countrywide. So far, parishes which established circles have received Uganda shillings 50 million each, benefiting 906 circles and more than 21,000 individual beneficiaries. The government will deepen the implementation of the parish development model beyond the financial inclusion pillar by maintaining disbursement of Uganda shillings 100 million per parish next financial year and in the subsequent years. When I visited some parts of the country, I was told that some of the parish development model money has been given to people who are not eligible. This includes politicians and public servants. I was also informed about the delays in accessing the funds released by the Ministry of Finance to the target beneficiaries. In some cases, a few elite people come together and form circles and take all the funds released for the entire parish. The State House Anti-Corruption Unit has arrested a number of culprits in the Acholi zone, where I started my up-country inspection trips, and I'm coming to all the other zones. So all the thieves be alerted. I am coming. I've already been to West Nile and also to Masaka. And wherever I went, I found some candidates for Zira. The PDM program is a successor program to the NADS and Operation Wealth Creation programs. Especially the Operation Wealth program, starting in 2013, succeeded in bringing down the households outside the money economy from 68% to the present figure of 39%. We therefore salute the Operation Wealth Creation. It did something. The Operation Wealth Creation did not only convert 29% of the households from Abakorere Chida Chonka, each may each keken, to the money economy, but as an example, increased the production of coffee from 2,060,000 kilogram bags to now 9 million bags, and would have increased to 12 million bags if it was not for the change to the new model of PDM, which people are still acclimatizing to. The change was, however, necessary so that the program is beneficiaries owned and we eliminate the grumbling of Begabera Boka. The government officials only serve themselves or favor themselves. PDM is saying, do it yourself. Here is a grant from the government to your parish circle of shillings 100 million per year. Besides, the parish is near your home. Hence, no more excuses. This is the strategy of the PDM. The money is there. It's cheap money given to you. It's yours. Government doesn't want to take back that money. When you pay back, it remains in your circle. And the parish is near. It's not like the sub-county. It's not like the county. It's not like the district. So therefore, no more excuses by people who want to remain in poverty. About 3 years ago, I launched a wealth and jobs creation initiative for those who found it difficult to access financing through banks and other lenders for non-agricultural enterprises. This initiative has been successful in mobilizing the youth and women in the informal sector in productive self-employment by increasing their skills, acquiring equipment, and accessing affordable capital. As of the end of December 2022, seed capital amounting to Uganda shillings 558.24 billion had been disbursed, had been paid out, benefiting 6,714 Emyoga circles and covering 1.9 million individual beneficiaries. Whatever mistakes that occur in these low-interest poor people funding efforts are correctable and are detectable. If you liaise with the public in your areas, like I've been doing with the public barazas in my recent trips up country. Agriculture sector as a whole contributed 24.1% of GDP. The sector grew by 4.4% in the financial year 2021-2022 as compared to 4.3% in the financial year 2020-2021. The value of agricultural exports registered a growth of 24% from US dollars 1,678 million in the financial year 2020-2021 to US dollars 2,000 million in the financial year 21-22. This growth was attributed to the increased volumes and quality of coffee, dairy, fish, and tea. Performance of selected enterprises. Coffee. To take some examples, the volume of coffee produced increased by 5% from 8 million 60 kilogram bags in financial year 2020-2021 to 8 million 4.5 million 60 kilogram bags in the year 2021-2022. This is on account of government interventions such as generation and distribution of improved coffee variety seedlings, increased use of water for irrigation, and promotion of use of fertilizers. The volume of exports increased of export of coffee from 6 million bags, 6.1 million bags in the financial year 2021 to 6.3 million bags in the next financial year. That was an increase of 3%. The value realized from coffee exports increased by 58% from $544 million in 2020-2021 to $862 million in 2021-2022. The dairy, the milk, the production of milk increased by 193%. The production of milk increased by 193%. Not 10% like this one of finance. Finance is 6%, 5%. The percentages are Ministry of Finance. Here, milk grew by 193%. With these economies which are so rich in natural resources, we should not continue talking about this 6-7%. This speech which I am reading is mainly from Ministry of Finance. I try to put in my views here and there, but it is their statement. I am their puppet. But if you want to know my own thinking, here you have it. Unfortunately, this is a sector where I am involved directly. I don't need finance. I don't need anybody. As long as there's peace in Uganda, we grow the economy. So, the milk sector grew by 193%. 6%, you are coming from underground. And you say, I've only come 6%. When will you get out of the ground? When shall we see you? So the milk grew by 193% from 2.8 billion liters in the financial year 2020 to 5.4 billion liters in financial year 21-22. In the same period, the export value of milk and milk products increased from $98.8 million in 2021 to $103 million in 2022. This is attributed to the compliance by the private sector to quality standards and regulations. Beef. The production of beef increased from 228,000 in financial year 2020-2021 to 230,000 in the financial year 21-22. In the year 2022, the amount of beef exported was 247,000, valued at 2.9 trillion shillings, as compared to Uganda shillings 1 trillion fetched in the year 2021. Fish, Ibinyanja. The total fish catches from all the water bodies increased from 621,000, valued at $1.8 billion, this figure here, my people, 1.8 dollars, but I don't think it's dollars. It must be shillings. In 2021, 651,000 valued at something. You never have it corrected. I don't think that's correct. It must be shillings. The availability of raw materials of fish sustained operations of the 12 fish processing factories. The performance has been a result of government focus on gazetting of fish breeding grounds, enforcement of fisheries laws and regulations, provision of quality fingerings and fish feed, and providing an enabling environment for the private sector to invest in aquaculture. The value of fish and fish products exported increased by 27.7% from US dollars. This one sounds more correct. From US dollars 148 million in financial year 2021 to US dollars 156 million in financial year 2021-2022. Provision of quality agricultural inputs. The government is currently implementing the Paris development model to transform the livelihood of the 39% of the households still in subsistence economy to modern commercial farming. The strategy under PDM is to transfer funds to parish-based circles where farmers can borrow and procure inputs such as seed and agrochemicals for agreed and selected enterprises. The government will continue to ensure that farmers across the country access quality seeds, planting and stocking material, disease and pest control, research, extension, and overall policy guidance. Pests, vectors, and disease control. The National Agricultural Research Organization, NARO, is conducting research on an anti-tick vaccine development and has already launched trials. Efficacy evaluation trials have started at Kiborara Prison Farm, Isimba, Marufi, Napin, and Mbarara. The government continues to facilitate research in disease-resistant varieties and building capacity of farming households on the best agricultural practices on integrated pest and vector and disease management and other efforts. Mechanization and farm power. Mechanization is critical to commercialization of agriculture. In the financial year 2021-2022, government procured additional 240 tractors and implements, bringing the total number of tractors procured by government to 655. Government also procured 740 units single-axis low-powered walking tractors with all accessories to support farmers to open more farmland for cultivation. These machines also support value addition, irrigation, and transportation of produce. Water and environment. The availability of adequate water resources is critical to the sustainability of the well-being of the society. When it comes to water for irrigation, the irrigation area has increased from 19,138 hectares to 22,797 hectares. The overall cumulative storage of water for production stands at 52 million cubic meters. These targets have been achieved on account of the following interventions. Number one, solar-powered irrigation demonstration sites. Government has completed the construction of 121 solar-powered irrigation systems on individual farms, creating water storage capacity of 206 million liters, serving 42,000 livestock. The government strategy is to increase safe water supply, coverage for both rural and urban areas. This is for human beings. The current safe water coverage in rural areas is estimated at 70%, while the urban water access is at 72%. Out of 70,512 villages, 49,102 villages have been served with at least one source of safe water. To achieve the planned target to restore wetland cover back to 13%, government is implementing several interventions that include restoration of degraded wetlands, demarcation of wetland boundaries, and strengthening awareness and sensitization campaigns on conservation of wetlands, as well as providing alternative livelihoods for people that have been encroaching on wetlands. I was talking with MPs from Bukedi and from Bufoga when we were in Chankwanzi, and they were telling me that, our people have been in the wetlands for a long time. And then I said, okay, they've been growing rice. So I said, how rich are they now? Because they have been destroying the wetlands, growing rice. But how well are they doing? The MP from Bukedi said, Bukedi is the second poorest after Karamoja. And then Ufoga was following. So the question is, if being in the wetlands is good, why is poverty so serious? I will get time and I come and we'll really discuss this issue with the people themselves. You are destroying the wetland, the water of the country, and you remain poor. So what do we do? Floods have over the last 3 weeks been experienced in River Katonga and River Ruizi catchment areas, resulting in destruction of infrastructure and property such as roads, bridges, people's houses, disruptions to transportation and even death, as reported around River Ruizi in Mbarara. My papers here, but I will manage them. We have put 21 before 20. So here, I'll read it the way it is. They will sort it out. Here they are saying this is for Buweju, Ushenyi, Ibanda, Isingiro, Kabarore, Kamwenje, Kanu. So they are talking about irrigation. As a result, 2,373 acres have been added to the area under irrigation, enabling 14,961 farmers to produce cabbages, tomatoes, apples, onions, pineapples, watermelons, green pepper, etc. They are still talking about irrigation. The following medium-scale irrigation schemes have been completed. Nene, 880 hectares. You, the MPs, you know, these people may say completed when it's not completed. So this is an opportunity for you to help them. They say, Ngenge, you are now very all right. Ngenge, in Sebe, 880 hectares irrigated. Ruengaju, 116 hectares. Pochi, 500 hectares. Mobukutu, 480 hectares. Botu, 1,000 hectares. Owe, 600 hectares, and so on. Then they talk of communal valley tanks. The government has constructed 44 communal valley tanks in Nabilatuk, Kotido, Amdat, Kabong, Karenga, Soroti, Butewitisi. This has created a storage capacity of 6.6 billion liters, serving 89,000 livestock. So then, this is where they mixed up. They put 20 after 21. This is not the end of the world. It's not a minimum. For Waganda to net the Galadians, you know. Uganda and Okwogera no Bulamu. So this is again up to there. So this will put my 21 before 20. But somehow you can combine There has been major disruptions to transportation arising from the damage of Katonga Bridge, which was washed away by floods. The floods also led to the eroding of wetland vegetation and gardens in the upstream parts of the catchment. This flooding was caused by a dam breach along the 4-kilometer stretch of the Kalungu-Gomba Road in the Bugomara village, Rwabenga sub-county in Kalungu district. The water had progressively built up on one side of the road due to blocked culverts, creating a damming effect. This created a massive force beyond the capacity of the road, creating a dam breach which led to a sudden release of a large volume of water that moved downstream the Katonga River. As the flood wave moved downstream, it moved with a lot of papyrus and gardens, causing significant damage to infrastructure. The interventions to address the problem of floods involve protection of water catchments and the general environment so that they perform their function of storing and releasing water safely even when there is increased rainfall. Regular maintenance of water bodies and rivers so that they perform their water storage and conveyance function. Demarcation and protection of lake shores, river banks, and wetlands. To limit encroachment by settlements, construction of water storage facilities, agricultural activities and other development, and strengthening of the early warning systems and enforcement of the water and environmental laws at all levels. People who damage the environment do so at their own risk. Have we not seen enough examples? Nantabulirwa yasabala na bwabumba. That's what we say in our language here. The one who does not listen to advice insisted on using a clay boat on the lake and drowned in the lake. somebody created a boat from clay. And people told him that clay cannot make a boat. Don't do it. He couldn't listen. He made a clay boat, he put it in the lake and drowned there. And that's how our people here in Uganda got a proverb that Nanta Bujura, Yasavarana Bumba. So the people will tell people, please, in the book of Genesis, this is now not mine. The other one was mine, but this one now. In the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 9, God commanded the water to separate from the dry land. Imagine Katonda. In the book of Genesis, it says, let water and dry land separate. It says, then God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. That's what God said. But the Ugandan comes and says God was wrong. What is water? I will turn into garden. God said this is water. And you say no, he made a mistake. We shall get time and talk. All the death from landslides, floods, etc. come out of rebelling against God. Rebelling against science. And rebelling against common sense. Water bodies and their miga. The miga is the Nyankole word for the edge of the water body. Are not for human settlement. They are for water conservation. Priorities. Government approved the agriculture value chain development strategy, which recognizes that intervention under partial development model will prioritize the following: guiding farmers on enterprise selection, ensuring adequate quantities and qualities of seed, breeding and stocking material, i.e. research and breeding. Number 3, ensuring sustainable high yields through control of pests, vectors, and diseases for crops and animals. Number 4, facilitating precision agriculture, i.e. water harvesting, irrigation infrastructure, and machinery. Number 5, provision of farm water, land opening, provision of farm power, that is land opening, cultivation machinery, and assorted post-harvest and small value addition equipment. Number 6, ensuring that the materials planted survive through ensuring adequate farmer education and extension services. Number 7, ensuring that there is proper post-harvest management to avoid pre- and post-harvest losses. Number 8, supporting primary processing through provision of skills and assorted equipment to address specific value chain needs. Number 9, supporting medium to large-scale, model, or extensive farmers, because these create effective demand for the small-scale and intensive farmers. Tourism. Tourism is another area which has got significant potential for the economy. We have the best tourism sites, including our national parks of Kidepo, Maxon Falls, Queen Elizabeth, Lake Mburo, Elgon, Rwenzori, Kibale Forest, Bunyonyi, and many game reserves across the country. Uganda's tourism sites rank highly in international media outlets and global tourism agencies. Despite the global lockdown, we received about 500 tourists in 2021 and revenue of US dollars 530 million. The number of tourists coming here has recovered since the lifting of the COVID-19 lockdowns to 814,000 by December 2022 and earned us US dollars 1 billion in the calendar year 2022. To harness the tourism potential further, the government is undertaking the following interventions in the tourism sector: ensuring security of the country and tourism sites. 2. Construction of tarmac roads from Kitgum to Kidepo, 116 kilometers. Lake Bunyonyi, Kisoro, Mugahinga, 74 kilometers. Karenga, Kapedo, Kabong, 70 kilometers. Kisoro, Ruguru, Muko, 65, which are soon starting these roads. Wildlife conservation, especially of Mugahinga, Lake Mburo, Semuriki, Kibale, Maxon, Kidepo, Katonga, Toro Semuriki, and Queen Elizabeth. 4. Preventing the conflict between wildlife and human activities. 5. Enhancing digital destination marketing using modern ICT online technologies. And 6. Strengthening enforcement and adherence to tourism standards through a strict licensing regime for service providers in the sector. Achievements. Tourism directly employs a total of 1.5 million people in Uganda along the entire tourism value chain and contributes 6.7% of the country's GDP. In the year 2022, Uganda's national parks hosted 367,000 visitors, surpassing the pre-COVID-19 levels of 323,000 visitors recorded in the year 2019. 63% of these were domestic tourists. So you, the Ugandans, you are getting richer. The middle class are now visiting our national parks. I congratulate you. Mukuriko wavu, atena mumwegareko. Although we had corona, we hear that although we had corona, you see, that's why we need the lubrication. From coming from outside, but the figure here is showing that arrivals into the national park went up, and the main reason was because of the Ugandans who are going to the national parks. Which means the Ugandans now have some, yes. In the year, Uganda's national, in the year 2022, Uvena's national parks hosted 367,000 something.
Tutaataganyamu ku mpeereza yaffe okutuusaako ekiriwo kati.
Adhan ku 107.9 PAL FM ekuleeteddwa BMK Group of Companies.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يغامب مبكا وا الله okusaasira kwa Allah kubeere kuye n'emirembe idha sami'tum almu'adhdhin bwemba mulidde omwazinyi faqulu mithla ma yaqulu almu'adhdhin muddemu ng'omwazinyi bwagamba
Allahu akbar Allahu akbar Allahu akbar Allahu akbar Ashhadu an la ilaha illa Allah Ashhadu an la أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
Adhan ku 107.9 PAL FM ekuleeteddwa BMK Group of Companies. Edduwa ya Adhan ku 107.9 PAL FM.
لا إله إلا الله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك اللهم على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة ودرجة الرفيعة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته.
Edduwa ya Adhan ku 107.9 PAL FM ekula ly'omuntu wa bulijjo.
wasowaganye ne munno oyagala kwebuuza ku nsonga yonna mu busiraamu oba kusomesa munda mu ggwanga n'ebweru waalyo nandiki okubalira ezzaka okukola hijja ne umura weeyune
aljannatu gaaya
basangibwa bakuli ku bitaala abeetaaze bafune ku ssimu eno noti 7 noti emu 4 noti 5 776 oba kubira Sheikh Umar Swidiki ku noti 7 noti 3 8 3 16 oba Chairman ku noti 7 noti 2 8 7 2
aljannatu gaaya
Hotel Africana ye hotel yokeyo mulembe mu ggwanga eri mu kibuga wakati tulina ebikosebwa byonna banquet meeting facilities conference halls wonoteeka enkiiko zo okusinziira ku bantu b'olina tutuuza enkuŋŋaana ezaakuno n'ez'ensi yonna ebisenge omuteekibwa embaga obubaga bedrooms ne workshops tulina swimming pools gardens sauna aerobic steam bath ne massage para business center yaffe erimu buli kimu ne forex bureau weeri Hotel Africana tusangibwa ku plot 2 Peo Avenue kusimu noti 4 7 noti mwenna tubaniriza Hotel Africana ye hotel y'abana Uganda.
Hi there, I'm CPA Stephen Muchulde, currently in charge of internal audit in a company that is in the insurance sector, where I have benefited from a lot of promotions as a result of the CPA qualification. Give your accountant's career the great boost it needs. Register for CPA today via www.icpau.co.ug or contact the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda via 0414 540 125.
Tutaataganyamu ku mpeereza yaffe okutuusaako ekiriwo kati.
Infrastructure gap we had in the 1990s. However, there are still critical gaps that the government will continue to prioritize in order to reduce the costs of doing business, such as lowering the power electricity price. You know, these people use their mysterious language, power tariffs and all that. Lowering the electricity prices. When we go to power tariff, they just mean electricity prices for manufacturers and other businesses. The critical infrastructure includes the railway and the upgrading of airports, including completion of Kabari International Airport, which is at 91% completion, and the Entebbe International Airport, which is at 71% completion. Development of new ports on our lakes, and completing the heavy investment in the energy infrastructure, e.g. Karuma Dam, and associated transmission lines. We also need to build new airports near the tourism destinations, such as Kidepo, Bwindi, Kasese, etc. Tourists, the rich people, don't have time to come, land at Entebbe, drive for 700 kilometers to Kidepo. No, they don't have time. We need to build airports for the rich foreigners to land near the national park, see the animals, and he goes away. But those airports, of course, also help with security. Like now with operations, night operations in Karamaja, we fly from very far, from Nakasongora, from all those places. It's better to have an airport within a good airport, which can operate by day and by night. in those areas. Government will prioritize infrastructure that supports industrialization, production of oil and gas, and promote tourism. These include industrial parks, electricity power substations, extending and upgrading electricity transmission lines, water for industrial use, and ICT infrastructure. Energy. The total electricity generation capacity is now 1,346 megawatts. This is from 60 megawatts in 1986. This will increase to 1,800 megawatts once Karuma is commissioned this year. This means, therefore, that the construction of the transmission lines to evacuate this power must be completed without further delays. These lines include Karuma, Kawanda, 400 kV, Karuma Oruyo, 400 kV, Karuma Lira, 132 kV, and Kole, Gulu, Nebi, Arua. They didn't put the strength here. I think it is 132 kV. The demand for electricity is increasing by 15% per year. Although these figures of finance, figures are Kasoro. My figures, you had my figures of the milk, 193%. But we're 15%. Anyway, we are talking with finance. I think we shall eventually agree. They are beginning to wake up. Because they are the ones who wrote this. This means they are the ones writing this. Me, I'm just reading. This means that even with 1,800 megawatts installed electricity generation capacity by the end of this year, there will not be enough power for consumption and for manufacturing in the next 5 years if we don't continue to invest in the generation. When you hear finance talking like that, then you know that Africa bamenyera obwavu tebagala abatawanya kuva mu bwavu. Given the many manufacturing factories that have been established in Uganda, we shall need to both increase and diversify our energy sources, including nuclear energy, to supplement our other sources such as hydro, solar, and thermal power. Nuclear energy is expected to add another 2,000 megawatts to the national grid by 2036. However, by 1940, we must ensure the generation of 52,000 megawatts from all sources. I am glad they have now put it here. Because I had a big discussion with these wonderful people. You know, our brothers in South Africa, of the ANC, when they came in, the whites, those people were fighting, were generating 36,000 megawatts of electricity. This was 1994. South Africa was already generating 36,000 megawatts. Now here my people are talking of 1,800. And they are talking about it as a big thing. They are very happy to talk about it. They are not embarrassed. I think South Africa now is generating 42,000 megawatts or something like that. But there is a big power shortage there. President Ramaphosa told me. So you can imagine 42,000 megawatts, but our brothers are crying in South Africa. And here you have got my people who are talking 1,800 megawatts. Talk about it as a big thing. They don't even feel embarrassed. They go to international conferences with PowerPoints that they are showing. How wonderful they are. I feel embarrassed on them. Please don't show these figures. Keep quiet. But now, they have committed themselves. Because the problem is not money. The problem is vision. If we have got a vision, we shall get the money. Even from our own sources. But if you don't see, what can people do? So they are now talking of 52,000 megawatts by 2040. I think that's a bit too far. But wakiri. In the immediate future, government shall prioritize investment in the rural electrification in the remaining sub-counties, electricity connections for upcoming industrial zones and factories, construction of additional power substations, strengthening the capacity of the Uganda Electricity Generation Company, and so on. Above, in this speech, these are my own words now. Most of the others have been the ones of finance and those groups. And energy and agriculture. So, as a royal delegate, I have represented them. I have told you exactly what they wrote. But this is now mine. Above, in this speech, I've said that our economy will be of the GDP size of $55.2 billion by the end of the financial year 2023-2024. This is assuming a rate of growth of 6% per annum. This is all while our economy is still largely raw material based. This is the problem I have with finance. And all those wonderful people, agriculture, what? All these plans, 6% rate of growth, this one, they are all assuming we remain a raw materials producing country, which I don't accept. This is assuming a rate of growth of 6% per annum. This is all while our economy is still largely raw materials based. Coffee is a good example. 99% of our coffee is exported as unprocessed coffee, a raw material for cleverer people. For Abatarengera, we who don't see far, we sell our raw material to cleverer people to earn big money out of our sweat. With the unprocessed coffee, we get US dollars 2.5 per kilogram. If the same coffee is processed, a kilogram will give us US dollars 40, increasing in value by a factor of 15. If this logic of value addition is extended across the entire spectrum of our raw materials, our economy will expand by at least a factor of 10. It will expand from US dollars 55 billion to US dollars 550 billion in the short term. Why do I say this? It is because apart from the said raw materials that are already in place, all the other factors are there. These are an educated workforce, electricity, a better road network, the railway we are about to start building, and the old line we are repairing, piped water, telephone lines, the internet, etc. Is this not what countries like South Korea, that do not even have the same raw material base like we have, did? You check the history of South Korea. What was the GDP of South Korea in 1961? Go back, because they have got internet. Go back. What was the GDP of South Korea in 1961? What is it now? The answers are, in 1961, the GDP of South Korea was $2.42 billion. You can even check what was the GDP of Uganda in 1961. I don't think it was very far behind this one. Today, the GDP of South Korea is 1.81 trillion. It is almost 2 trillion. From 2 billion in 1961 to 2 trillion now in just 60 years. And South Korea is half the size of Uganda in land area. And they don't have the resources we have. So really, I'm not part of this Vision 2040. What, please, to take a movie. That the plan is to remain poor until 2040. That's their plan. That's not mine, but I am presiding officer. If you are presiding over confusion, you also bring some confusion too. Let us add value to all these raw materials. We only have two obstacles to this remaining problem. Delaying and tossing up and down investors. This delaying and tossing up down investors. One day, our late Prime Minister Surambi, we were sitting in one of those rooms. I was sitting here, Surambi was sitting there. There was a rich man, I've forgotten his name, from America, a white man, whose company has got wealth bigger than the GDP of the whole of East Africa. So I was trying to convince this man to come here. And Surambi said, you write to me, that this man writes to him. I told Surambi in Uganda to him, say it's so kuandikira kwe. This man cannot write to you, Surambi Apollo, cannot write to you. The man has got wealth bigger than the GDP of East Africa. And this man is sitting there, right, as if he's applying for a job. If that is the mentality, then why did we set up Uganda Investment Authority? We set up Uganda Investment Authority, Okusaka, Kutusakira, to get for us people. Bring them. You are the one to take the trouble to bring them, not sit there and they beg you as if you are going to give them welfare money or what. So this ignorance must end. I told this man in Uganda to him, "Say that's what you just overestimate yourselves." So this tossing up and down investors must stop. This is the biggest problem I have. You need to bring. That's number one. And corruption by some decision makers. Corruption. They want to get money from these investors. Can you imagine? Not only do they waste their time, but they also want to... the ones who bribes you is the one who is desperate. But the real credible investors will not waste time with you. You delay him, he doesn't even come back. Even me, I'm not as rich as the other American, but I'm also not poor. You can't waste my time with my cows. I just say, okay, I just go back to my cows. No time to waste with people who are not serious. So the two problems which are a blockage, because now we have the educated population, our children are educated, electricity is now there, the roads are there, security is there, the raw materials are there, the production is there of raw materials. The problem is value addition. What is blocking the transformation from raw materials to final products? Mishandling investors, wasting their time, and corruption. Let us crush these two evils, these two remaining evils, and the sky is the limit. In Chankwanzi, I shared with our MPs the social metamorphosis that takes place when societies undergo modernization. If you can check on all the modernized countries, you will find two phenomena. One, a small percentage of people still in agriculture, and more people living in the towns than those living in the rural areas. So when we come, I really feel sorry for Africa. You see all these big leaders, this one, and we had them in the 1960s. We had our leaders here. But none of them were not able to tell our people the future, where we need to go. But let us just take the example of agriculture. Here below are the figures. In the USA, the percentage of people in agriculture is 1.3%. 1.3%. United States is a land of 3 million square miles, population 320 million. Only 1.3% are in agriculture. UK, 1.5%. France, 3.6%. Germany, 1.2%. Japan, 3.4%. Chile, 10%. India, 55%. Nigeria, 70%. Burundi, 80%. Uganda 70%. So having more people in agriculture is a sign of backwardness. If you are looking for characteristics of backwardness, one of the characteristics is having more people in agriculture than in the other sectors. And secondly, having more people living in the rural areas than living in the towns. Therefore, the quadritia, these are my words, they are not for the other group, because they give me that power that I'm the one to read the speech, so I read theirs, but also mine. Therefore, the quadritia efforts we are currently involved in, the four layers of efforts, are in order to enable Uganda to achieve this metamorphosis. I was telling one of the MPs asked me a question which helped me to remember. We must have these three levels of efforts. Tier 1, involve all adult Ugandans into the money economy with the Kibaro through the PDM and Yoga etc. All Ugandans must be involved in the money economy. The 39% must join in. Sally helped us with 29%, but we now need to remove the other 39 all to join the money economy through PDM and the Yoga. Tier 2, add value to all the raw materials that do not have to be consumed fresh, so that we create more jobs and get more money for our sweat. Tier 3, build a knowledge-based economy using advanced scientific knowledge such as the technology of automobiles, therapeutics, etc. TIRA, you the MPs, we need to support TIRA so that they get moving. Instead of having only the economy of coffee and tea and tobacco and marapang and I don't know what. Let's have an economy of automobiles. Why do we have to beg to, why can't you have automobiles as part of the economy? Struggling with Shira Motors, the scientists have made the vehicle, but the people who have money to support them don't support them. We are struggling, begging. I know in our clans we have got M0, Okwogera. But we should not Okwogera transformation. Okwogera okukola motoka zikyo sikiriwo. Let's have part of our economy based on automobiles. So you are losing twice. First of all, you sell your coffee as MB Day. Okusogora omubisi okukyusa omubisi okujjamu omwenge mu Muganda, then bw'ofumba omwenge Muganda n'ojja mu kali akatira ddala. You don't do that. You just sell a bit. The other man is the one to go and get all the value. But now add new economies which your children now are able to add. Dr. Guam was able to make a medicine for us for corona. These other people are making economy wealth out of automobiles. Let's support them. And Tier 4, expand and modernize the services sector. Services sector, health, education, tourism, hospitality, entertainment, sports, etc. Among the services, it is good that our youth are active in music and sports. In music, we have been assisting some groups and individuals to build recording capacity in the country. The NSRA has been coordinating with the musical groups. Capital and equipment will be provided to our talented groups. At the local level in the countryside, artists are one of the 18 myogas. We have seen how our youth have excelled in the sports, marathon, etc., Cheptegei and the group. Since 1986, we have been struggling with the economic recovery, expansion, diversification, and transformation. The talented sports youth have come up because of these general improvements. With a bit more revenues that we have now, we shall focus deliberately on sports by building more stadiums and training facilities. It is good that the high altitude training center at Teriet is now finished. These are just endozo, jaribu. In Tungamo, there are women who are selling beer, local beer. When you come there, you say, somebody will come and say, I want you to first, I want to test first. It's called Okwogera. He drinks here, he says, this is not good. Like that, by the time he has finished 6 Okwogera, he is drunk and he doesn't buy. With our growing economy, we shall do much more for sports. It is good, therefore, that the East African countries together put in a bid for AFCON, the continental football competition of 2027. Apart from Nambole and Nachivubo, we need more world-class stadiums to be built. It does not matter whether they are government or private, as long as they are in Uganda. On the side of the music, the Attorney General and the Minister of Gender need to resolve the issue of the copyrights. It is not fair not to protect ownership of Okwimba. Okwimba is the Nyankore word for composing songs. That is how we shall be able to create a big economy by doing the 4 tiers, the ones that I mentioned. We shall be able to create a big economy that is able to accommodate our expanding population. In 1810, the UK had a population of 10 million people. A priest by the names of Alfred Malthus started pushing views that the population in UK was too big, etc. The UK has now a population of 70 million people that is many times more prosperous than that of Malthus's time. What happened? It was the metamorphosis of the society and the economy into a middle-class, skill-working society. You cannot have peasants producing younger peasants on increasing the fragmented agricultural plots, and you think that you are not an enemy of your country, if, as a leader, you do not see this and combat it. So to sit here as leaders of whatever we call ourselves, but I was watching our leaders in the 1960s, and we were telling them about these things that time. Young people, you go abroad, because even in the colonial times, I remember even in 1955, they would take our chiefs. The British would take our chiefs to England for study tour. But when I was in the school system in the mid-60s and I was reading, I had not gone abroad myself, but we were reading. I started asking these people, you go abroad and you see what's happening there. Why don't you tell us when you come back? To copy. You go and see progress, you come here and you maintain backwardness in your own people. You supervise, oversight role over. You are oversighting backwardness. And you have no problem with that. God will not like it. In the cattle corridor, you were there the other day, you the MPs, you were there in the cattle corridor. You saw in Roma, people have nice houses. And income, even when the infrastructure is not there, you saw the road from very bad. The road is not good, but the people have income. So therefore, every leader who is calling himself a leader, even these religious leaders, the cultural leaders like these who are here, please, if you don't see the importance of metamorphosis is a biological process in insects. Insect starts as an egg, the egg hatches and it becomes a caterpillar. Caterpillar changes and it becomes a pupa. Then it becomes a mature butterfly. It's called in biology metamorphosis. That's the same with society. We must be clear that we work for social metamorphosis of African societies. Because that's where the problem is. The middle class women who live in the town here, they don't carry children on their back. You don't find tying children in the back there. Mama Janet here has never carried children on her back. Even when we were in exile, we were pushing our children in these small wheelbarrows. How can you have a society? You have got a few people where the children are being pushed in those small, whatever they are, those small vehicles, the piped water, using gas cookers, using electric cookers. Then you have your people in the fire. It's not acceptable. It's a betrayal. And you say, we say we are leaders. Excellency, right honorable this one, right honorable that one. cannot have peasants producing younger peasants on increasingly fragmented agricultural plots, and you think that you are not an enemy of your country if, as a leader, you do not see this and combat it. We should not be leaders into futurelessness to our people. You can see in Latin America people are running away from Latin America. They walk on foot to go to America. And yet Latin America is one of the richest parts of the world in terms of natural resources. But the problem is the leadership. In the US, they had the leaders who could think about how to transform their country. What stimuli in South America, busy with other things. Africa should not be like that. Education. I'm about to finish, don't worry. I have another like 10 pages or something. You are the ones who invited me. The NRM government introduced UPE and USE programs in order to ensure that no child of school-going age misses out on schooling on account of school fees. These programs were created to provide free education, especially for the poor families that cannot afford to pay the school fees. It is therefore unacceptable for school authorities to demand fees from the poor parents. The government will not tolerate this practice. Education must be totally free in government schools. The local leaders must enforce this when we give them renewed orders after an internal review to find out what has been the obstacles hitherto. We are going to review and issue fresh orders. Once these fresh orders are given, please, I don't expect any deviation from what we shall tell you to do. The literacy rate is currently 76%, while overall school enrollment is at 85%. The demand for free primary and secondary education has increased significantly, which is overwhelming the current educational infrastructure. Part of the problem is that private schools have increased school fees, making government schools more attractive. To meet the increase in demand for free education, government is now rehabilitating the primary schools and the traditional government secondary schools. These include 18 secondary schools such as St. Peter's College, Tororo, St. Henry's College, Kitovu, Masaka, Ngara SS, Arua, Nabsusa Girls School, Kampala, Kabarega Secondary School, Masindi, Nabmari High School, Mbare, Namasagari College, Kamuli, and many others. In addition, the government is constructing and equipping secondary schools with laboratories and completing the construction and upgrading of technical vocational institutions in Bushenyi, Ruwero, Lira, Mbare, Nyamtanga, Rwentanga, Kaburamaido, Butareja, Sese, Kitugum, and Kariro, among others. The construction of 115 state secondary schools in the sub-counties which do not have these schools at the moment will continue in the next financial year. To improve school learning and accountability in the government-supported schools, the following will be undertaken starting next financial year. strengthen the link between education and socio-economic transformation by promotion of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in education, research, and incubation. Enhancing the technical capacity and skills to support industrial growth, especially manufacturing. Electronic tracking of enrollment, dropout, and retention, and identifying learners, teachers, and institutions using ICT capabilities. Improving the overall staffing levels in the schools. Development of a complete national vocational qualification framework. With our oil money, we shall be able to complete our targets of a government primary school per parish and a government secondary school per sub-county. The railway, the electricity, technical and science education, as well as some national roads, will be the elements our oil money will deal with. I intend to meet with the Petroleum Authority and the oil companies to harmonize so that we do not miss the target of 2025 at the first oil date. Because I don't want this Petroleum Authority to delay our program with petty things. What is this one now? Local content. Let's start. Health. Over the last 3 years, since the outbreak of COVID-19, the government has strengthened health systems. This has included equipping regional and national referral hospitals, and 225 health center 2s have been renovated and upgraded to health center 3s. In addition, we have strengthened the capacity of the country in vaccine development. For the government to be able to sustainably improve health services, emphasis will be placed on transforming the health care from predominantly curative to preventive through one, timely supplies of drugs to address stockouts as well as provision of relevant medical equipment, prevention and control of communicable diseases through immunization, operationalizing Mulago Super Specialized Hospital and expediting the construction of the Ruboa Specialized Hospital. All existing health center 4s and health center 3s. Strengthening the supervision and accountability role of the regional technical supervisory structures, emphasizing through radio programs the importance of nutrition, hygiene, etc., and malaria prevention through killing the mosquitoes and the use of treated bed nets. Strengthening security and good governance. Uganda's borders remain secure, save for the spillover effects occasioned by activities of negative armed groups in eastern Congo and South Sudan. I wish to assure Ugandans and investors that Uganda is a secure and peaceful country. The recent isolated incidents of misuse of firearms and killing of innocent people is being handled with immediate response. These include, among others, strengthening the capacity of security agencies to address emerging security threats, addressing discipline issues of security personnel in the Uganda People's Defense Force and the Uganda Police and Uganda prisons, enhancing the security infrastructure to detect crime before it happens, and addressing the welfare of personnel in security uniforms. The ability to manage a huge pre-announced event like the recent Martyrs' Day without any insecurity incident, while terrorists are still running around in neighboring countries such as Congo, Somalia, etc., demands salutations to our security personnel, weaknesses here and there notwithstanding. An event like Mother's Day, which is pre-announced, is a big magnet for terrorists. They would love to come and cause trouble there. And they plan, but we don't allow them. So while we quarrel with our security people, they are really miles away from many of the groups in the world. There are few weaknesses here and there. Otherwise, an event like this one, pre-announced. We are following groups in Congo and what, planning to, you don't know how many of them are in prison now. Who would want to come and kill people during an event like this one of millions of people who gather in a pre-announced huge event. So why we criticize our security people, but we should also appreciate. Anti-livestock theft and disarmament operations in Karamoja. The government has enhanced troop levels and combat capabilities in Karamoja to combat cattle theft. Disarmament operations codenamed Operation Usalama kwa Wote remains on course. A total of 124 guns with 1,023 rounds of ammunition have been recovered since January 2023. Similarly, an estimated 4,771 stolen livestock were recovered and handed over to their rightful owners. At bilateral level, Uganda and Kenya entered a memorandum of understanding on cooperation in defense and security, which was signed in April 2022. The agreement provides for concurrent disarmament operations in both countries. There has been mistakes and some corruption in the disarmament in Karamoja. I'm now in direct touch with the raiders. The raiders came and met me. They looked for me, and I met them. So please don't arrest me that I am aiding and abetting the raiders. But these young people have their own issues. That issue is not so difficult to deal with. There have been so many mistakes by our own people. I'm now in direct touch with the raiders. Some have already come out. They came and I took them around. They visited all these places. They were putting on suits. When they arrived back in Kotiro, everybody could not recognize them. Totally changed. Some have already come out, and others seem to be ready to come out. The corrupt elements in the army that stole the money of the vigilantes will be punished. And so will all the corrupt that undermine the total peace we had achieved in Karamoja between 2007 and 2018. Because 2007, 2018 was total peace in Karamoja. Everybody agrees. Then what happened? It was destabilized by mistakes of mainly our people, civilian and army. The Turkana of Kenya, those are also another problem. The Turkana of Kenya must stop entering Uganda with guns. And I do not want to hear even one incident of those people again raiding in Uganda if they want to stay here. All the points put forward in the recent executive order, I gave an executive order recently dealing specifically with the cattle rustling must be fulfilled. These other clans of Karamoja, I think I will be able to bring them back because I'm already in touch with all these groups. The Dodoth, the Jie, the Matheniko, the Bokora, Pian. Now, the ones where we need to collaborate with Kenya are the Turkana. But we shall do it. They will stop. Otherwise, they even killed our geologists. 3 of our geologists were killed. I want those who killed the geologists to be brought back. They brought back the guns, but not the killers. I want the killers. But we also have a problem with our Pokot. Our Pokot, there's a man called Rolem. Have you heard of him? He must be around here. If you see him, inform the police. But Rolem, and who is the girl representing Pokot now? Amadat, who is the girl? Can I see how she looks like? Where is that girl? Come and I see you. I have not seen you. There was one who was shooting at Champan the other year. That was one of them who were in the shooting the other year. She was not here. She was going to raid. She's what?
She's not feeling well. She can't be here today.
I hope she has not gone to raid. Now, the Pokot, our Pokot here, must not continue to steal from the other clans and take the cattle to Kenya. They should stop. Because I'm going to concentrate on them. But they are my good people. Those you tell them that the old man, you saw him, and he's saying that you should stop. Rolem is here. You come on the microphone and they see how you look like. Where is Rolem? Come on the union and see how you look like. According to the speaker, you are not supposed to say anything because the speaker said, oh, Rolem is now very fast. How do they greet in the Pokot?
Supply. Yes, to the male. Then the female, you say Takwenya.
Oh, Takwenya.
Yes.
Takwenya like
Saturday.
Okay, now you have had my message. Please help us.
I will do that, Your Excellency, immediately after the budget speech.
Thank you.
I will go and mobilize them.
Thank you. Operation Shuja in DRC. Since the launch of the joint FADC UPDF operation, codenamed Operation Shuja, in November 2021, a total of 109 SMGs, 5 light machine guns, 3 RPG tubes have been recovered. 508 ADFs combatants have been put out of action, killed. 50 captured alive, 90 abductees rescued, and 20 defectors received. In March 2023, UPDF put out of action 29 ADF rebels Toroko district and recovered SMGs. They had invaded Uganda from Congo. The East African Community Heads of State Conclave, held in April 2022, resolved to establish and deploy the East African Community Regional Force to pacify Eastern Congo. Uganda has contributed a battle group to that regional force. The recent deployment of the East African Force, augmented by diplomatic efforts from the regional states, will address the security challenges posed by instabilities in Eastern Congo. Security forces acts of sabotage in form of vandalism, targeting electricity and water infrastructure. Security forces have arrested 15 key suspects in connection with masterminding vandalism of electricity and water infrastructure in central Uganda. Here among them is the so-called Colonel Muronge, leader of a subversive group called Uganda Defense Forces. The arrests also targeted elements within UMEME and a network of scrap dealers. The operations have since recovered over 300 tons of assorted electricity equipment. This vandalism is done by haters of the NRM to inspire progress in Uganda. They don't want to see progress. They feel very unhappy when they see these electricity wires. They thought Uganda will not come up. So we're going to be very harsh with them. It's good we arrested them. They didn't resist, otherwise they would have gone to somewhere prematurely. Those who are involved in this will feel sorry for their bankruptcy. Land and land fragmentation. I wish to reiterate my call against the destructive inheritance practices such as land fragmentation. Over-fragmented land becomes LWD, land with disability. That is why, as back at the elections of 1996, in the NRM manifesto, we talked of the 4 acres model and as the medicine for those who had already fragmented family lands. Hence, a recommendation for the 7 activities of coffee, fruits, pasture for grazing, for zero grazing, poultry for eggs, food crops, piggery and fisher farmers for those near the wetlands. All these are products that can give good money even if they are done on a small scale. That is why we recommend them. There are, however, other products that the country needs but can only be done on a big scale. Which are these? They are cotton, maize, tea, sugarcane, beef, tobacco, etc. In fact, you cannot do the 7 without being assisted by these, e.g. maize for all animal feeds, for poultry, cattle, fish, in addition to humans and industry. The NRM has been recommending to you inheritance by shares in Mugabo. You do not divide the property itself, but you divide what comes from the property, and you can aggregate your annual share and acquire your own property. Thereby, the family property is not only preserved, but it can be expanded, and moreover, all the shareholders can get their own separate properties from the original family one. Corruption. As regards fighting corruption, and improving accountability of institutions, priority will be given to ensuring transparency, accountability, and anti-corruption measures across government systems by implementation of electronic government in especially procurement, health, education, and taxation. Doing things through the computer eliminates these meetings in hotels between government officials and business people, because that's where the corruption is. What are you going to discuss in the hotel? Why don't you send him a message on the computer? That's why e-governance is crucial. It will help. Fast-tracking the monitoring, the effective implementation of government programs. Strengthening the courts and case management systems through adequate staffing and digitalization. And implementation of other covert and overt efforts in the fight against corruption. As we get near the conclusion, economic priorities of the government in the next financial year. In the next financial year, 2023-2024, the following key strategic areas will be prioritized. Peace and security of person and property, number one. Effective implementation of the policy development model and Emyoga. Acquisition of right of way and starting the construction of the standard gauge railway, as well as finalizing the rehabilitation of the meter gauge railway. Number four, investing in small-scale solar-powered irrigation systems to address climate change and ensure food security and eliminate the erraticness in agricultural production. Number five, constructing transmission lines and power substations. 6, maintenance of both tarmac and manned roads. 7, development of industrial parks to ease manufacturing. 8, support to medical schools and science-based research development. 9, expedite the development of the infrastructure for oil and gas production. 10, capitalization of the Uganda Development Bank and the Uganda Development Corporation. 11, support to information, communication, and technology development. Anti-homosexuality law. Before I conclude and talk about the planned legislative agenda for the coming session of Parliament, I cannot avoid commenting on the noise about the anti-homosexuality law that you enacted and I signed recently. My stand on homosexuality has been repeatedly laid out to all and sundry. It starts with a few questions. Why does somebody become a homosexual? Is it on account of genetic, hormonal, or psychological reasons? Discussions with our doctors and the other African doctors who had a conference with African members of parliament from 22 countries unequivocally led us to conclude that homosexuality is as a result of psychological disorientation at some point in one's life, not genetic and not hormonal, as some of us initially thought. This conclusion that homosexuality is a psychological disorientation gives us a way forward. Logically, reasonably, without bias, without what? If somebody is a victim of psychological disorientation, do you criminalize him or her on account of that? Is it logical or fair to do so? The answer is no. Instead, such a person needs assistance to, if possible, overcome his psychological disorientation. I am glad the MPs agreed with me and clarified this point in the law. Therefore, those who say that the homosexuals will be arrested if they go for medical care, etc., are wrong. The law now says that a homosexual will not be criminalized for merely being so if he or she keeps the being to oneself. What then does the law fight? It fights this homosexual when he or she goes from merely being and starts recruiting other people who are not psychologically disoriented like him or her to be like him by misinforming or bribing them. There, he becomes a criminal and if convicted, goes to prison for a period not exceeding 20 years. If he goes further and rapes a person, a child, an indigent means a weak person, he commits a capital offense and he faces a maximum sentence of death. This is the law I signed. These are the three substantive points I think there's something missing here. Oh, these are the three substantive points. Being is your personal problem. Merely being a homosexual that you find you are disoriented, you don't like the ones you should like, you like the ones you shouldn't like. Being is your personal problem. Promoting is criminal and qualifies you for prison. Raping qualifies you for a possible death sentence. So you people, when you are arguing with these people, go for the substance. Don't be diverted to these other. Additionally, in Uganda, sex is confidential, even heterosexual sex. Therefore, if a homosexual keeps his being to himself, or confidentially seeks assistance from the doctors or priests, it will not offend this law. I have told our MPs that if there are still some illogicalities in the law, such as forcing employers to know who is a homosexual in the company, or landlords to know which tenants are homosexuals, we shall work to amend them and keep the substance. We should go for the substance, not these other. Because I have heard some people talking about that. But I will call our MPs and we'll talk about it. Therefore, doctors and other health workers, providers, should assist those patients who come to them bearing the three substantive points in mind. I will arrange a dedicated broadcast on this issue toward the end of June. I will give a whole broadcast on this issue. Now, finally, you're about to be saved from me. I wish to end this address by thanking Parliament for enacting the following legislation during the last session. Out of the 62 bills presented to Parliament on the last State of the Nation address in June 2022, the following bills were introduced and passed. The Companies Bill 2022, the Insolvency Amendment Bill 2022, the Law Revision Bill 2022, the Museum and Monuments Bill 2022, the Physical Activity and Sports Bill 2022, the Anti-Terrorism Amendment Bill 2022, the Small Arms, they are all here. The following 5 were introduced by government in addition to the 62. I think the Speaker had also spoken about those. Now, there are these bills which are ready for second reading: the Employment Bill, the Competition Bill, the Public Service Pension Fund Bill. The following reports, as highlighted in the State of the National Legislative Agenda of June 2022, were processed and adopted. They are also listed here. Madam Speaker, it is now my pleasure to declare the third session of the 11th Parliament open. I thank you very much, and hope that the coming session will be fruitful. I thank you.
Thank you so much.
I need 1 minute. I need to. In the morning, I was feeling. Yes, in the morning I was feeling as if I have a slight cold. So I called my medical team to check corona. They took samples as usual. There's what they call a rapid one. That one was negative. Then there are 2 which go for deeper analysis. One was negative, the other one was positive. So I'm a suspect of corona as I'm standing here. That's why you saw me coming in separate cars with Mama. I said, Mama, please, you use your car. But since I'm here, I will not infect you. I have kept there's a big distance here. So we shall sort out that little issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for the clear and concise exposition of the government policy in your address and fulfilling your constitutional obligation as per Article 101 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. We take cognizance of the government legislative agenda for the third session, and we do pledge our proven commitment that will make sure Parliament will do what we have agreed today. Your Excellency and honorable members, having listened to your passionate appeal to increase industrialization, I want to put the record clear. This is the Hansard of Parliament, and I want the Hansard to be very clear that in the financial year that we are in, we appropriated 77 billion for Kira Motors. However, the money was used for other purposes. I therefore appeal the line ministers to exercise their political supervisory role. The blame should not come to Parliament. We did our part and appropriated money. 2, the Employment Amendment Bill 2022 and the Competitions Bill were passed by Parliament awaiting assent of the President, so we will be expecting a scented copy from the President. Honorable members, I want to retaliate on a few things. In the third session of 11th Parliament, we shall reactivate and intensify the monitoring and reporting of attendance of the House sittings by both the members of Parliament and the ministers. This will help us in doing our accountability to the electorates on how effectively we have represented them, both in the House, in the committee, and remember Article 79(1). One of our roles is representation, so we should be accountable to our voters. We need to know where you are, whether you're in Parliament, you're in Kampala, you're where. So the voters need to know where you are. We are going to reactivate the data where you're going to log in for us to know how many members attend the House. The money that is paid to us members of Parliament is taxpayers' money, and we must be able to account for it to avoid becoming corrupt. Honorable members, His Excellency the President will be back here on 15th June 2022 to deliver the budget speech. The President will be here on 15th June 2023. I am happy you are alert. The President will be here on 15th June 2023 to deliver the budget speech. We therefore urge you to be here to know what goes to your electorates, to know how much you've appropriated to your people and work for this country. And once more, Excellency, we want to thank you, even with the condition that you're in, for creating time to come and deliver the state of national address. And we want to thank Mama for accompanying you. On a special note, we want to thank all the invited guests, all the dignitaries that are here, and I want to thank the members of Parliament. And I say all this for God and my country, and God bless you all. Adjournment. Honorable Your Excellency and honorable members of Parliament, the House is adjourned to 15th June 2023 at 2 at KOLOLO grounds. The anthems.
Kumusa mkatonyeze mwenda Pal FM. Ekula ly'omuntu wa bulijjo.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Gano mawulire mapya. Oli musiraamu oyagala kusoma oba kwongereza ku kyolina. Al Hadiya Islamic Adult Education Center bavuddeyo okukubangula mu ddiini ku mitendera okuli primary giyite ibutidai, O level giyite idadi, A level giyite thanawu. Oyagala kumanya Quran n'ebigikwatako, okusoma olulimi Oluwalabu oba Oluzungu, naawe ow'Oluswayiri oyanirizibwa. Tusomesa Mande okutuukira ddala ku Lwokuna, n'aba weekend n'Oluwummula mwanirizibwa. Tusomesa mu budde obw'okumakya, mu ttuntu awamu n'olweggulo. Tuyita abafumbo n'abatali, abayizi okuva mu matendekero ag'enjawulo, abasiraamu mwenna n'abapya mu ddiini. Bwe yeetaaze okubanguka, tusange Nabweru Katooke Road ku Kijegere.